Oh, what a beachy! Here we are on the big Volvo with no gearbox in her at the minute, and we have a gearbox back from being repaired. So this video is just a few tips about how to mate a gearbox to an engine, and maybe a wee bit in that subframe as well. So the backstory of this gearbox is that it is grinding in second gear, difficult to engage second gear. It wasn't really jumping out of second gear, but that is a problem with these gearboxes. It's very similar to the gearbox that's in a Ford Transit. As we can see there, maybe it says FOMOCO, Ford Motor Company, there on that gearbox. And very common problem with the Transits, the front wheel drive Transits. So yeah, on to a few hints and tips of marrying this up. So you need to check these splines are nice and clean and free of any muck and stuff like that. So yeah, and as you can see, it spins nicely at the minute, and that's because it's in neutral. If I stick it into gear, it's a bit tighter to turn with my hand, and that's because you're turning all the gears. So whenever you're trying to marry it up, you want that to be in neutral there. So you can take a mental note of where that position is, so that whenever that marries up, then whenever you're getting engaged in that into the clutch plate, you know, if it is slightly, if it needs to move slightly, it's free to do so. So I'll just show you the second gear synchro mesh here. These are the parts that have been replaced in this gearbox, and this is the second gear. This is the second gear cog, if you want to call it that. And those wee teeth in there is the synchro. This thing here is the synchro hub, which engages into the synchro. Now, if we look very closely, we can see maybe all the teeth are damaged in the synchro. But that part in there, that is part of this cog, so that's why we had to replace the whole thing. Okay, you can maybe get that, you see that there? The teeth are damaged there. So whenever you're trying to select second, so it doesn't marry up, because that's spinning, you know. Yeah, we'll just have a wee look at this here. I took that cable tie off, and maybe we'll see it a wee bit better, like there. Let's see now, get you into focus. Yeah, just all damaged. So the gear itself seems okay. Yeah, so we'll have to replace the other part of it there as well. Oh, look at this other part right here. Another part of the hub itself. So this is the synchro hub, and see if there's any damage in that. So this is the second gear side here. Let's see if we can get you into focus. And if I flip it over to the first gear side, I can see that they're fine. So there we go. That's why I had to replace the whole thing. So back to marrying this gearbox to this engine, and here's a trick that I do all the time basically. So you get a bit of bolt and you cut a slot on it. You either use a bit of stud bar, which I think that's what that is. Obviously the right thread pitch and stuff like that, so you can check that with your thread pitch gauge, you know. So you compare that to, this is a bolt out of that gearbox. So not very big in this particular gearbox, only a 13mm head, but so I have a few here, different lengths. So clearly that one's wrong, clearly that one's wrong. But so they're ones I've made up for different gearboxes over the years, you know. So it just takes a bolt or a bit of stud bar. These two here are two good looking ones, and there's the same, just a bit shorter, which will do this one here great. So what we'll basically do is we screw these two, screw a couple of these into the engine, basically in the engine side, and you just sort of hang the gearbox on that, and that way you know that it's not sort of tilting side to side, and also you know it helps putting the thing on. So these things really assist you. You see people and they're holding the thing up and they're taking the whole weight themselves, and they're wiggling and wiggling and wiggling, and they're shaking it about, and they're killing themselves. You know, these things here take the weight of it, and you know, if you're off slightly, it'll marry it up for you as well. So we'll just have a wee look at that. So if you imagine these are screwed into the engine, and then whenever you lift the gearbox up on, you sort of hang it on these couple of studs, with the slots pointing out the way. So the wee slot that you cut in it with a grinder, and then that allows you to screw it out, just put with a screwdriver, you know. So we just hang it in there like that. And what you can also do, you can put one, what sometimes helps, but it may not be available to you, is one off to the side, you know. So that means the gearbox isn't sitting off center, you know, so that means the gearbox is sitting square. But generally you can get the two into the top, and you just hang on it. So you want to screw them in 3 or 4 threads just, and you don't go mad with them, like. And yeah, so we'll do that now. So that's the idea there. You can get her in. We'll stick another one on this side too. So we'll get the gearbox into position, and we'll hang it in those two studs. So that's the gear with the gearbox in then. This is now on the weight of the transmission jack, so that's taking the weight of it. So we'll give these bottom bolts a wee nip up. I already have done most of them there, and give those top two a wee nip up as well. Now where I can, I like to try to keep underneath as clear as possible, so I can manoeuvre about and walk right around it. So when I can't put the beam across the top, you know, you've no choice but to support it from below. But it's my choice to try and support it from the top. where possible, and yeah, that just gives you a lot more room beneath her. Most of the bolts are tightened up. Well, they're nipped up just, you know, all these ones, apart from this one. So this is a Ford engine, it's a Ford box. On the Mondeos, the 2-litre TDCIs, the diesels, to get this bolt out, you have to take a DPF off. And what a lot of guys do is once they get that out, they chuck it, and they don't put it back in again. On this one here, because it's a 1.6 petrol engine, you know, I was able to just back that out, and it stayed flush with the engine side there. So it's just a matter of screwing that back in again and giving it a nip up. But that's a problem child, that wee bolt on these setups. I can just about get in there with my fingertips to start it. And before I put this gearbox in, well, I knew about this, so I give the threads on the bell housing a bit of a clean out, and I made sure the threads in this bolt were nice and clean. I run a wee nut up and down the threads so that I could screw this in most of the way with my fingers, and it's just a matter of getting something on it then and giving her a nip. So lucky enough I can get a spanner in there. On the diesels you can't. What I was doing there on the backside to get this box up in, I was using a pry bar at this backside off this plate. So yeah, and there's not doing anything. But I put these here on because of, you know, the shape of the box, so I can get a bit of wood underneath. And then the ratchet strap that you can see there, you know, that keeps the box attached, so that whenever I'm moving it about the floor, it doesn't slide off. Pretty important that. And to get her manoeuvred then, I slacken the strap. As you can see, it's slacked. Let's see our strap there. So that allows me then to get an angle on it. Right. If I'm struggling, you know, I could always drop the engine a wee bit more from the beam across, but didn't have to in this case. So we'll have to go upstairs now. And there we go. So the engine's still on the beam, but it's also on the transmission jack as well. So what we need to do, what we're going to do is with the bolts nipped up, we can bring this up to get this mount on. Now, what's very important with these mounts on any gearbox is that I can see that this is leaning over sort of toward me a wee bit, you know. So the engine's rocked slightly. Right? Do not, whatever you do when you're putting these gearbox mounts on, is think that you can pull it up in on the bolts. You'll strip these threads out. Now there's another bracket here to go on first, and then the mounting plate. And in this brilliant design here, there's two bolts on the upper mounting plate that are underneath the fuse box, and I've hoofed it up there with a bit of wood to get at these two bolts in the back here. So anyway, just an annoyance, no biggie, but there you go. So anywho, we'll get this lifted up on the transmission jack, and you know what we want to do then is start these bolts, and you want to get the engine in a position to be able to just run them in as much as you can with your fingers or with just a socket on it. You know, don't flip and try to ratchet them in, because you'll strip them out. Honestly, I've seen it, I don't know, many times, people doing that. So sometimes you might need to put your hand in the engine and, you know, give it a hoof over to get to do that. But well, yeah, we'll do that. I keep saying we all the time. It's the whole sort of half the point of this video is I'm doing this on my own, so there's nobody else here, and these tools here are my mates. They're my third hands or second hands, if you want, and this is sort of how to put a gearbox in on your Jack Jones on your own. So there you go. Actually not too bad, this one to line up, because you can keep this bit here loose. So that will move about, and that'll help us get these in. So you just put a bit of pressure on the gearbox and let it move about. And get them run down as much as you can by more or less hand there, and you know you're on the right threads. So sometimes that can be tricky, but not too bad in this one. Now that the engine and gearbox is supporting itself, and we'll have the transmission jack out, we can focus our attention to this thing here, the subframe. Even though this subframe is in a Volvo, this is basically a Ford Mondeo subframe. So these subframes need to be aligned, because this is the rear bushing, one of the rear visions, and this is the bolt for it. So the bolt goes up the way, but if I look at this, the bolt can move about in it. So this subframe can jiggle about whenever you put these bolts in, which will throw it away out of line really badly and make the car crab. Now you can buy alignment pins for these, and I looked them up, and they're about 50 quid, and they're just two bits of metal basically. So I'm not going to buy them. I'm going to use something else. I'm going to use another bolt, but that one's a bit big. It needs to be pretty snug, you know. So this is one of those bolts. Only a bit of masking tape around it, and that's nice and snug fit there. So it'll push right through. And that's a corresponding hole there in the body. So that'll probably sit about there, I'd say. So it's in a good inch or more. So that'll keep us in lane. We'll get this subframe in. When I say I'm doing this on my own, well, lucky enough, I got a bit of a hand this morning. Well, it's the owner of the car to check up on me, I think. Banner? Oh, it's scared. Me? That's it. Give me the spanner. Are we putting it there? Bring it over to me. That's it. Give me the spanner. Are we putting it there? Very good, very good. It's dirty. Next one. Thank you. Oh dear. That's a job. Thank you. Thank you. Give the spanner over, Poppy. Thank you. Thank you. 15 mil. Can you get me the 16 mil, please? That's it. 16? Yeah. Thank you. Well, dirty bolt. Oh, dirty bolt. Can you give me the ratchet? Thank you. That's good. Yeah, can you put it in? Put it in here. Is that bolt one there? That's it. Oh, near enough. Anti-roll bar bolt. Right, okay, I'll do it. Ah, yes. 14 mil. Thank you. And the ratchet. Ah, that's good. That's good. Your hands dirty again? We're getting there. It's like the bolts.
What about the big? Nah, don't touch that.
It's like the bolts.
Big one. Give him a big one, then we'll leave it.
Oh, it's heavy. Oh, it's heavy. Well done. Well done. Good girl. Your hands dirty again, kid?
Right. Daddy, take your hand. Don't pull, don't pull. Don't pull that, please.
15 mil, 14 mil, 13 mil. That's it. Good girl. That's amazing. High five.
High five.
High five. All right, we'll get this subframe into position. Unfortunately, Poppy couldn't stay. She had to go and wash her car.
Oh, good girl. Put some more water on, Poppy. Yep. Now wash it. You're looking after your car. Good girl, Poppy.
That's our subframe positioned, and the bolts are loose, so we'll get these homemade pins in. And same on the other side. Oh, there's nice and snug. We'll get these bolts run up. So that's her in position. We can see, just check it with the dirt mark of the body frame, that it's in the position that it was. So if this bolt nipped up a wee bit, two front bolts are still not tightened. They're run up, but they're just not exactly tight. So this can move. This was able to move about a wee bit. They've got those pins in, and we're able to double check with the witness marks on the dirt on the frame. And that's us over on the right hand side, same deal. So we can see that it's in position to where it was. So there's a bracket that goes across from those two holes there over to the other side as well. So what we'll do is we'll tighten the two fronts, and then we'll take those Wizzo's two bolts back out again, and the frame shouldn't go anywhere, so it'll stay in alignment, and we'll get that bracket on, get the exhaust mounted up, and that's us. I actually supported the frame there before I took the two rear bolts back out again. So dead on, we're back up in again, straight, aligned up perfectly. Left the alignment pins, the homemade pins are back in anyway, so we can take them out right at the end. So do you need to buy 50 quid alignment pins to do this? Definitely not. You can nearly line it up by eye actually, you know, on the dirt that's on the body, but that's just a double check. So it does, doing that there makes it a bit easier for you. So there we go. So we can dispense with our support table. Well, there you have it. That's two major components in the gearbox and the subframe. So I hope that helps somebody out. Just a few wee points to note. I'll answer some questions now rather than answering them in the comments. I will not be telling how much this thing here cost. The price, it depends on whether you have a trade account or not with people. This little sort of brass coloured component there that you see in these gearboxes, this is an MMT6 Ford gearbox, And these wee brass components here, you do not use mineral gear oil in there. You need to use fully synthetic, because apparently the mineral gear oil eats those. Anywho, I will show you the a bit of the receipt here. I'll show you where I got this from. That's it there, Royce Power Transmissions Limited, and those are the components. MMT6 second gear, 41 teeth, and an MMT6 hub with the two parts to it. And yeah, that's their wee logo there. So I don't know whether they sell to ordinary punters or not, but that's I think it may be trade only. To answer some questions, yes, I put the clutch sleeve cylinder in before I put the gearbox in. We did not change the clutch. It did not need changed, and that's not what it came in for. Wee Poppy appears with consent, and there were 2 adults in the garage at all times supervising her when she was underneath the car. And I have no idea what mileage is on this car. It is not my car. I think there's somewhere between 55 and 60,000 miles on it. So there we go. So maybe you found that interesting, and many thanks for watching, and all the best, and go say bye bye. Say bye bye.
Bye 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 bye.
Bye bye. Say bye bye. Bye bye. With bye bye. Yeah. Say bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. That was fantastic.